So I just wanted to make a little tutorial about using Discord webhooks to send a request. A post request specifically. Now if you don't know how to make a post request, in most languages it should be pretty simple as long as there's some sort of library to handle it. I believe most libraries use curl. Personally I don't know how to do that, but in Python they make it really easy using this requests library. Now, if you don't know how to do this in the specific language you want to work in, I'm sure there are plenty of tutorials online, and it should be fairly easy to figure out. But in Python, to make a post request, you just call request.post, you provide the URL for the post request, and in JSON format, well, in dictionary format, you set this JSON parameter equal to that dictionary, and then request is going to handle converting this into a JSON string for you and posting it, which is very helpful. Now, there are some things about this JSON format that are required. So if we look here, data is what we're actually passing, and I have everything commented out, so it's just going to be passing an empty dictionary to this URL. And real quick, let me go over how you get this URL. So if you go to the channel you want to be able to send messages to using your webhook, click integrations, you'll see webhooks here. Now if there's no webhooks on this channel, there will just be a create webhooks button here. If there are webhooks, you can click view webhooks and then click your webhook or make a new webhook. If you're clicking just create webhook from the integrations tab, it will bring you to something that looks like this, where you can name your webhook and select the channel that it affects. The next thing you're going to want to do is copy your webhook URL and define it in your code. Now I've already done that here. So as we saw before, the data variable is simply an empty dictionary. Now if we try to pass an empty dictionary, we're not going to get anything because there's some required data that needs to be passed before Discord is going to accept your post request. We can see over in this channel nothing happened. But if we simply comment out or uncomment this single line which defines the field content with some sort of string, and we save that and run it, we can see that it is going to send a message under the name we defined with the content of the message. This next field, username, allows you to change the username of the bot that is sending the message. So say you don't want to use the default name that you defined, you can set it to whatever you want. In this case, we're setting it to name of bot. The next thing you might want to define is an embedded message. Now, with the embedded message, you're going to have to pass it as a list. And it probably is going to be easier if you define the embedded message in its own dictionary variable. So, with the embedded message, there are two required fields, description and title. And if we go over here, this is what the description defines, and this is what the title defines. And we can see that over here. We have title of embedded message and content of embedded message. Because we now commented out embeds, you can save and run this. And you can see that we have just sent an embedded message through a Discord webhook. I would recommend doing this simply because it looks a lot prettier. Alright, that's all. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.